What's up, my people?
Wow.
We in the building. We coming along. Come on in.
All right.
Make sure all of our volumes are good. Y'all let us know if y'all can hear us good.
Well,
Let us know. Let us know.
let me see. Let us know.
Yeah, if you can, just send us a bat signal. We coming along. This look kind of crispy right here.
Look real crispy.
Like that. But
All right. Happy Monday.
yeah, it's definitely a happy Monday. Cheers. All that. Make sure come and sit down, wrap a tab with us.
A little bit.
Get your spirit, get your juice, get your water, get your wine. Hey, listen, before we start, we need a sponsor.
Listen.
We got all these businesses and stuff, but we promote. I can't even show you what this is, but you know what this is. We need a sponsor, you guys.
Listen, we're just gonna show this. If you know anything about some, little sparkly kind of wine,
Right.
that's red and a black bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of remind you of a movie from back in the day.
Right.
The name.
Y'all know what it
Y'all
is.
know what we talking about.
Y'all already know. Let's get some funds going on here. What's going on? My therapist is popping on down to earth counseling. I know a lot of therapists like all over.
That's good.
I didn't realize how many therapists that I'm aware of. I wouldn't say no. The social media make you just feel like you're really close.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which is all good. People that
you connected with somewhere.
Right. In some way, shape, form, or fashion. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I dig it. So before we get started, make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you're following us, Piranha Projects Inc. Be about your business on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. Look those things up, subscribe. We got the shorts and all those different things coming along. Hey, we had about 2 weeks off. It feels longer than that, sis.
It does.
We got some changes, some emotional changes, some physical changes. You see the hair. You see the hair.
The lock journey. Somebody was like, oh man, your twister really pretty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she was like, so you about to start the lock journey? And she gets to tell me about the lock journey, and I was like, no, this number 2 for me.
Yeah,
it's number 2. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got a little hang time.
She got the swing with it. You see how she just swing her head? She just swung her head a little bit.
We were just talking about the journey, and sometimes, you know what I'm saying, when you go from, depending on the hairstyle, the lock journey can be different. So some people call it the ugly stage, but I kind of hate when people call it the ugly stage, because it's really like that transition from what you used to know as your hair to this whole journey. And so I'm ready for it again. That's it.
Y'all already know, if I could do it, if Mother Nature didn't touch my scalp and say, no, we're going to close up those pores, I would have my last 2 sets.
Yeah.
So if I could do it, you guys, I would. Some people don't even, realize that I had hair at one point. They were down here.
In fact, like, you remember you started my first set of locks.
Yep.
Until till he got kind of busy, and it was like, okay, I need to find somebody that can do it. Plus, I still lived in Winston.
Yeah.
So it was a little drive. All right. So we had.
Yeah, Kansas. I started her first 2 sets. I told her I wasn't doing no more. I wasn't doing her hair no more at all. If she cut them off, she would just been cut off. all told, just done.
Yeah.
Oh, come on in. Oh, he said your hair pretty. Down there.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. No echo. So we was trying to wait to get the clearance, from our executive producer. She's tapping in. She wanted to make sure that we didn't have an echo, and it was sounding good over here. The sound was matching the look.
You know what I'm saying?
So we want to
sound
sound good.
We feel good.
You know?
All that. So we gotta check in.
We gotta check in because we miss you guys. It's been 2 weeks. You know, out there, IG, we got IG going on. We got YouTube streaming right now. We got Facebook going on. Make sure you guys share this out because it's gonna be juicy. Like, don't get it twisted. We bringing some juice, but we also got a special guest tapping in. She's backstage. Awesome woman. Been doing some research on her, and she's definitely doing some big things again. Orangeburg, South Carolina, like, you know, we produce jewels out here. Don't know if she's from Orangeburg, but she went to Clapham, so we halfway. You know what I'm saying? Like that's family, even though you're across the fence.
The fence, remember the fence?
Yes, we made the hole a little bit bigger.
Laughing in the background about the fence, you know what I'm saying? But we used to talk shit about the fence. You know what I'm saying? They had like 2 dorms. I think they only had like 2. I feel like they only had like the male dorm was the high rise one.
Right.
I don't ever
the one that's across the street is like you had to walk across the street. They only had it was a one dorm. But for the guys, we went across the yard because it was like, okay, even though y'all right there, it was a new set of girls. It was like fresh meat. It was fresh meat on the block. We go across the yard, you know. And being from Orangeburg, I was considered a local. So it's like, oh, you're a local now. Y'all crazy. We ain't messing with no locals. None of that. But we definitely gonna talk about that when we bring our special guests on.
Talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it in. Since we haven't seen you guys, and happy what was it, Labor Day?
Labor Day.
Oh, that good. Well, Labor Less Day, because I don't do nothing on Labor.
Well, what they call Labor Day.
Yeah.
What they call Labor Day.
But anyway,
the day off.
How you doing, sis?
I'm good.
1 to 10 being your best, 1 being not the greatest, the suckiest. What number would you say and why?
I feel like the day, you know what I'm saying, I'm at a strong 8. A possible like spades, a possible 8.5.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had a good weekend that wrapped up good. I mean, even though I had, everybody know if you know me, you know I'm in transportation. You know what I'm saying? I had one of my vans mess up, but it still, it worked out. God just worked that thing out. So anyway, I'm at an 8. I like that 8. Possible, the possible 8.5, depending on how the stellar keyword is. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's right. I'm gonna have to add to that. I'm definitely, I can't go lower than an 8 today. You know, it's definitely been over these past 2 weeks, you guys, since we haven't been on. Of course, we had holidays, and then the week before that, it was something else going on. But it's been all positive. Like life is going life. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the fact of it not happening. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to happen. It's all about how you respond to it. So even in the face of adversity, whatever adversities you got going on, if you're still alive, there's still a possibility for it to change.
That's it.
So that's how I look at life.
That's it.
But, just staying busy. Just staying, grounded and grinding at the same time. Just trying to make something stick, make something shake out here. So I can create some generational wealth. And we're going to talk about that generational wealth today with our guests, talking about business, funding, business credit. We all need to know these plays that people have been doing for years. You know what I mean? Like other people, not us. Like we just become privy to this information. I would say over the past decade or two, being more privy to the information in which we can learn how to build business, expand, and
use
scale.
Other people's money.
Use other people's money.
OTM is real.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we think, because you think if you own a business, I know that's what I used to think. When you own a business, that you have to fund the business yourself.
Right.
And so it's important to talk about building business credit and even understanding the difference between business credit and business funding.
Yes.
And so she's going to talk about the difference in them two, and even you might be in business. Are you even ready for business funding? Like, do you have your foundation and your structure set up good enough for business funding. Because it was crazy that I was at the bank. I was at Wells Fargo for something different, and talking to one of the small business bankers.
Right.
And he gave me his card. He was like, "Oh, just let me know." Because I was telling him, I was like, "Me and my brother have a business with some other partners, and we're trying to do other things." And he was like, "Oh, I was like, yeah, we need to be using y'all money, Wells Fargo."
Right. Absolutely.
But he gave me his card, and he was like, a lot of people don't really understand, even when it looks like business lines of credit.
Right.
I was talking to somebody about that during a consultation. They was like, "What's that?"
Exactly.
So I'm glad that she's here to, to add to that topic.
For sure. Yeah, we definitely gonna dive into that. But we always got to bring some juice. We always got to bring a topic to the conversation. In addition to getting to know our special guest this evening. The topic for today, and I want y'all to think about this and process this a little bit, because we've all probably been there at one point in time in our professional career. I would say at least 75%. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can check the data, all those things. But tonight we're going to be talking about relationships within the workspace, and more specifically, work husbands and work wives.
Listen.
Hey, tag somebody in this live
that's got a work husband or a work wife.
Absolutely. Tag them.
Because we're going to break that thing down.
Tag them. Let's bring it in. We all family here, so let's talk about it. Let's just open it up. We're going to have a family group therapy session, a family session about these work wives and these work husbands. Is it healthy for your relationship that you got at home? Is it healthy for you to have one?
Are you confused? Are you a confused mofo? Are you a confused mofo?
Listen, I want to hear these comments, and don't be bashful. Don't be acting like you don't have a work husband when you know you got that dude that you know that he like you. He be getting you lunch. He done bought you some flowers. He done got you a birthday gift.
Or in the back of your mind, you like,
yeah, he can get it. He can get it. If dude at home ain't acting right, and one of those nights you have a work event. The holidays coming up. Y'all have those Thanksgiving parties and those Christmas parties. All that.
Obsessed. What's that movie? Idris Elba.
Oh, with Beyonce. Yeah. So, and fellas, don't act like you don't. Be looking at the shorties on the line. Y'all working at assembly line together, or the receptionist at your office. Or that supervisor. It's like she my supervisor during the day, but at night I'm managing this thing over here. So we're gonna definitely talk about that. So y'all stay tuned for that juicy. We just have to throw that little tidbit out there to keep y'all tuned in. Now I want y'all to think about these questions, because I'm here for the questions. I'm for all the smoke. Y'all know after hours I'm a therapist. I'm not your average therapist. From 8 to about 6:30. After 6:30,
it's the smoke.
I want all the smoke. So bring it, please bring it. I want the questions.
I'm gonna represent pretty darn.
Listen, let's get it. So make sure y'all share this, because it's gonna be big. It's gonna be explosive. We had to come back with a bang. 2 weeks off. We had a lot of stuff that we was, it was just building up. So
here we go.
Hey, we about to bring our guests on, Miss Tosha Dash, CEO, business. What is it? She Dreams. Am I saying that right? I'm trying to go off of the dome. Business consultant. Overall businesswoman. We're gonna talk about this business credit. Get y'all right in these businesses so we can go out here and flourish. She'll give you a little bit because it costs, because she's the consultant. That's how she get paid. So don't think you're gonna get all the free gems tonight just because you're sitting on this live. She may give you a little bit, but information ain't free. You know what I mean? Like, that's intellectual property.
It's not free.
It's not free. So make sure y'all write down some information. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have it in the chat. Make sure y'all talk to us. We talk to y'all. Y'all talk to each other. That's how we do. Make sure you jot down her information. We gonna get her some additional consultees. Is that what it's called?
Just clients.
Oh, a client.
Just
Okay.
clients.
All right. I don't know.
So, this
Hey,
is
listen,
consultees.
I'm excited there. I told you it can't go nothing but up from the 8.
Yeah.
You know, once you start
Close to
sipping
that
on
eight-
it,
you close to that 8.5 right now.
I'm about to ring Miss Dash, and
Okay.
we're gonna talk about this
We're
stuff.
gonna fix it in big business. All right.
Oh, we got you on. Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh yes, there we go. There we go. Good evening, Miss Dash. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you guys doing?
We good over
Good.
here. We good over here. I know you've been in the background. You've been backstage.
Oh yeah.
I see you over there cracking up. And that's how we. Oh, she got it out, you guys. She got clapping and stuff.
Put it back. Let me see. I can see it. Okay.
What is Claflin's mascot?
A panther. What? Say what now? You don't know?
So, I never knew that.
Really?
No,
Shame
Oh,
on
wow.
you. Shame.
That's-
Are you from Orangeburg as well?
I'm from Orangeburg.
Still
Born
in-
and raised.
still
Born
in-
and raised.
So you're from Orangeburg.
I am.
Oh. Where did you graduate from? High school.
I went to the S.H.E High School.
Oh,
Oh.
you went there.
Oh.
Don't do us.
Other,
Don't do us.
the other high school.
She said the Edison.
S.H.E High School. Like I went to the Claflin University. Everywhere I went to is
Oh,
Okay. Okay. No judgment. No, this is the judgment-free zone over here. We're all family.
I heard all.
So first you went to Edison, and then you went to Claflin.
Just like I'm just not dealing with the niggas like at all. Like I'm just not gonna deal with them.
I don't
like,
know anybody that's went to Claflin. I
What?
don't know anybody that went to Edison. Sorry.
I know people from Edison. Shout out Edison High School. You know, we used to beat y'all in football at the jamborees and stuff like that. Like we used to-
That was a long time ago, right? That was a long time ago.
So again, thank you, Ms. Dash, for jumping on the podcast this evening. You know, I wanted to give you the platform and the opportunity to kind of reinforce kind of my little small introduction about what it is that you do and kind of what got you into the business of business finance, business credit, consulting, you know, and what do you hope to achieve in building this business?
Okay. Just like you said, my name is Tosha Dash, and I am the business consultant. And what I do is I help small businesses, and really my niche is trucking, but I love the industry, and I'll tell you background about that. And just like you said about OPM, other people's money, and so that's what I do: help small businesses be able to use that fund to be able to scale, grow, and just change the financial trajectory of their business. Started it. I've been in business for quite a while, but started it the old-fashioned way, bootstrapping it, using my own money, and that got old real fast. So life was life, and before it became a thing, life was life, and you know what I mean.
Mhm.
It was
Right.
business, and the money was
Right.
going. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so got introduced to business credit, business funding. And just like you said, when I was backstage, like we didn't know about it, you know. So
Mhm.
this is like a trend for us the past, couple years. And everybody else, like you said, everybody else has been doing it for years. And I mean like centuries, like they've been doing it for
Right.
quite a while. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's literally been centuries. They started, I think, back in England when they was like borrowing something for like clothes or gold or whatever the case is, but it's been centuries. Like if you go and do the research on it, so that's what it was for. And so when they were borrowing money or they were borrowing things, they was like, well, I need to get interest off of that. You're borrowing something
Mhm.
and I'm gonna need a little bit extra, and so from there the greed started too. But anyway, that's another topic. But yeah, and so I was in the trucking industry myself, and we started everything with our own money. You know what I mean? And so, or using our personal credit in order to get things.
Right.
You
Right.
use
Yeah.
personal it just tanks your score. And was like, it has to be another way in order for us to be able to continuously grow in our business and not tank our score at the same time. So now it's like I'm winning on this side, but I'm losing on this side. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
found out about business credit. I think it's like the best thing since sliced bread. And just like you said before, I did my research. It's my intellectual property is up here. It's like business credit or business funding is like my love language. And so I just want to be able to share that with other business owners and let them know not to be afraid, understand what it is, how to use it responsibly. I can't even say the word, be responsible with the word, with the funding. And right, this cutting up today, right? Being responsible with it and making sure you get an ROI, get a return on your.
Okay, so you said trucking, you're talking about like box trucks, 18-wheelers.
Anything logistics or transportation.
Oh, okay. I know a couple of people that have like dump trucks, or they have like a towing service. Would that fall under what you
Absolutely.
did?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And so those clients are like my favorite because they have that consistent money coming in and they're not even taking advantage of the opportunities at their banks. So they have that money come in every single week. They're using you.
Right. That's what I'm about to say. If you have consistent money coming into your business account, they're using your money to fund other stuff.
Absolutely.
So you should be using them to fund your stuff.
Absolutely.
So what was that moment for you? You said you've been in business for a while. What was that moment for you? I guess maybe trial and error that said, okay, there has to be something else in regards to funding and financing my business. What are those other avenues? Because I'm sure we all know they're out there. That's why we have all these skyscrapers and everything. But what was that turning point for you in business to where you said, you know what, there has to be another way, and where do I go to find that information?
Okay, so I started, I used to work at a college here in Columbia, and one day I was celebrate my 1 year anniversary, and the next day they let me go, right? And so I was like, I need to figure something else out because I never thought about being an entrepreneur prior to that. So during that, I got into the entrepreneurship, I got into the insurance space. And then from there, they was like, you could be a broker. So now you could be your own boss in that. You don't have to just work for a specific company, you be your own boss. And that's how that went. And so after that, I was doing that for quite a while, but if you don't know, you have to get leads in order to get clients, and so that's how that works. But the leads don't come to you for free, so you have to pay for them. So as I was working, I was paying for those, and then everything was going good. I was making money on both ends, and then I fired my job because I decided to do it full time. I fired them, yeah, and then from there, everything was going good. But then, when you have the good weeks, you have bad weeks, you have good months, you have bad months. So now it's this, this ebb and flow, and so from there, I was like, it has to be another way, or I'm gonna have to go back and work for somebody else, and I didn't want to do that. And so, just being able to networking is so important when you're an entrepreneur. Being able to network and finding people who help me establish to properly work my business and make sure I'm registered. I don't just have a hobby. I actually have a business, you know what I mean? And so registering my business with the state on the federal level, having all the proper looking like a business on the outside. And yeah, because that's all important, because if you don't have all those things, they don't line up, then you can't get anything. And so from there, just being able to have that exposure, they're telling me about business credit. And from there, I'm the type of person, you can tell me something, but I want to do my own research. And from there, it just kind of spiraled into me the snowball of like the whole world kind of opened up for me. And then getting business coaches too, so I have like a mentor, to be able to kind of, they've been there, done that. So you need a mentor because everybody needs somebody above them to teach them how to do it. And so that was a turning point, just knowing that my money was running low and I needed to figure out something else to walk back on somebody's job, which is nothing's wrong with that. But that wasn't the avenue I wanted to continue to take. So I needed to find another way to be able to fund my business.
So when you started, when you started consulting people or even when you started your process of building business credit, you went through certain steps. So we all know, you got to have you got to have a business for one. You can't have a side hustle or something else. You got to have a business registered with your state, business banking. How can you talk about or just remind people how important it is to build relationships with your bank? Because there's some banks like, I won't say the name, Wells Fargo. Like they're not, from my experience, they're not small business friendly, I should say. And so in some banks, I feel like, or credit unions that may be a little more small business friendly, but a lot of business owners don't understand the importance of having those relationships and those hard conversations with your banker to at least tell them where you are and where you want to go. So can you just remind people or talk about how important it is to even have that relationship with your bank first before before you think about, because you got all these gurus out here where they say, you can get $50,000 if you just have a registered business and an EIN. That shit gets on my nerve because I'm like, well, they gonna want their money back, so you gotta have some money coming in.
Right. So the first thing is making sure you have a business bank account. A lot of businesses that don't even have a business bank account. That's the first thing. Second thing is, like you said, like the big household name, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they are not, they're trying to come around, but they're not pressed for us. They don't need us. They want the big bucks. They want the Chick-fil-A's, the Walmarts, the Targets. They want these larger industries. So if you do have a smaller, financial institution, whether it's a smaller bank that may not have like millions of locations, that's always good. If you like, credit unions are always amazing, but also you want to build a relationship. So that's go inside and talking to your banker. Letting them know what your goals are and what you're trying to do. And if you do have that consistent money coming in, a really good banker will reach out to you. So that's where you hit a different level when they're reaching out to you. They're like, hey, Tosha, I see things are going well in your business. I'm like, stay out of my business. But okay, but let me see what you're talking about, sis. But so you want to be able to do that and building that relationship. And like you said, have the hard conversations. I believe in having the hard or the uncomfortable conversations because you won't know where you are if you don't ask those important questions. And everybody's had a hard time with credit or whatever the case may be. That's life. Again, we already say life be life, and that's fine. So let's figure out how to get you to a point where you are able to get business funding, a line of credit, equipment loans. Let's see where you are. Because if you keep hiding from them, you're going to keep hiding. You're going to keep hiding from your money too. You're not going to get anywhere.
Absolutely.
That's true though. That's true. Those relationships, but we talked about that in like previous episodes, the importance of relationships and networking. Like, get out of your comfort zone. People don't know that your business has needs or that your business even exists if you don't go meet people. Like, you got to talk to people.
Right.
And one thing that we definitely talk about here on this platform is not just from a financial perspective and a mental, but also an emotional perspective as well. And just talking about your transitioning from firing, your full time of firing your boss and then stepping out on faith and having that hunger to do more. And most people see entrepreneurs as, they see the outside part of it. They see the glitz, the glam, they see the social media content, they see the commercials, they see the cars, they see everything else that's materialistic. But shine a little light as far as like, what was that transition like for you from an emotional standpoint, whether it's a level of anxiety, those hard nights, those sleepless nights, those depressive nights, being an entrepreneur and stepping out on your own, what did that look like for you?
Well, it was scary, but it was scarier to stay at a company that didn't value who I was. And so I was like, I have to go. Like I said, I've never thought about being an entrepreneur. I was always that ideal employee. I love getting my check on the 1st and the 15th. I got
Right.
my insurance. I get my days off. And then as I got a child, then they started telling you when you can get off, when you can leave, and you getting reprimanded for, being late if you have a sick child. And I was just kind of like over it. I've been working since I was like 14. And so, you're in the country, you working under the table.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was my first job, under the table.
Right, under the table, my daddy was giving me some money under the table. I was at a register, but and so I was like, I just have to step out on faith and do this. And I seen the potential of what I could do. And so even though I'm not in insurance right now, that was my stepping stone. I always give respect. I will always love it because it was my stepping stone into becoming an entrepreneur. And from there, it is so many other doors open up for me. But just like you said, sleepless nights. I've been in this office plenty of times, head down on the computer because I was doing the research or making sure, like, girl, we got your baby wanted to eat tomorrow, so we got to figure out what we doing today, or the money is getting low, and now you was like, okay, how am I going to make it work? You know what I mean? So, yeah, absolutely. And so, it's anxiety, it's hard work, and just like you said, we all see this. Like right now, it's all cute, but before this, I was on the computer all day until I got sleep. I had to take a nap because I was like, I have to do everything on my list. I got to do this, I got to do that because, what I do today is going to affect me tomorrow. So if I don't do nothing today, I'm not getting anything tomorrow. You know what I mean? So, this is definitely
point. No, I'm about to say them afternoon, them little 30-minute naps be.
Listen.
Every day. I did an hour today. I needed an hour today because my eyes was heavy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Once you get a certain age, like we welcome naps. When you was a child, you be fighting those naps. Like right now, I'm like almost like I need to go lay down.
Pencil them in on my schedule. I need a nap.
Absolutely. That's a part of self-care. We talk about that all the time, getting that balance of making sure that you're okay so your business can be okay. If you out of whack and you effed up around here, you're not getting the sleep, your appetite is off, you're emotionally and unstable, then that's going to affect your business in the long term and even in the short term. So making sure that
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, like for me, when I'm working with clients and filling out applications, if I'm sleepy or tired, I may put in a number wrong. I may put in their name wrong or whatever. And so I would rather just step away and take a nap and then come back versus just keep doing it. Because I was like, I need to get this done. I was like, no, because now I'm going to do my client injustice if I do something wrong and now I can't correct it.
Absolutely.
But then too, like when you think about it, like what you're talking about, that whole idea of burning the candle at two ends of the stick, whatever the verbiage is. So when you do, even when you think about it like that, if you put somebody information in wrong, like that could mess up the whole thing. Instead, because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're like, okay, I got to get this done. Like you're saying, I got to get done. The more I do, but then you realize really, you ain't getting shit done because you're sleeping. You're just looking at the same screen and you typing the same thing.
Overnight, now it's 3:50. You be like, dang, now I gotta go pick up the kids. I ain't did nothing.
But I still go back to even what you were saying before, the importance of having, as an entrepreneur, like having lists and having daily tasks that you gotta complete or at least try. And if you don't get them done, then it carries over to the next day. But even knowing, okay, it's a certain amount of stuff I got to get done today. Right. And if you just got that shit in your mind, like
at 40, it's leaving.
If you over 25 and you ain't writing that shit down,
it's not gonna happen. If it's not on my calendar on a daily basis, it's probably not going to happen. So, getting to the the routine and the regimen of organization.
Yeah.
Making
That's
sure that
important.
even if it's small things, if you got to make a run to the grocery store, still put it on your calendar because it still takes time. We got is 24 hours in a day, and a third of that you should be sleeping. So you really only got like 16.
As an entrepreneur, do we get a third though? Do we really get a third?
Listen, I think I just remember when I first started, like I was going hard to like 12, 1 o'clock. Cause I'd be like, oh, I gotta get this done. But I was running myself crazy.
Yeah.
Like I was like, and I really wasn't getting shit done.
Right.
Because I was just looking at the screen like this for like 2 hours.
Right.
Because I'm tired. Instead of going, resetting and refilling, getting yourself together and setting boundaries. We talk about that all the time, like the importance of setting boundaries, setting a schedule. Like even though you're an entrepreneur, you still should have a set time that you work. Even if you work full time and your business is part time, you should still say, okay, from 5:30 to 9, because then if you have family and you work until 12 or 1 o'clock, you're really not spending you're not giving your family the time that they need. So it's all about that balance and boundaries for sure.
Setting priorities, because as you know, being an entrepreneur, like I just said, we only got 24 hours, and if you got kids, if you have a significant other, all of those people, oftentimes they get the short end of the stick when you're an entrepreneur, and it takes a special significant other sometimes. Children may not necessarily understand; they just know that things are being taken care of. You're working all the time. Mommy works all the time. Daddy works all the time. But it's different when we're talking about significant others, husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes that influences in a negative way, right? Not being able to communicate, or not having that availability. And if your love language is quality time, and you ain't getting it,
listen, you're gonna be mad at me.
Now you got that work husband.
So thank you. You done segue. You done segue, Tasha. That was a perfect segue into this conversation.
I feel like she more excited about talking about the work husband and the work wife.
No, absolutely not. No. Let me tell you what you're not gonna do.
So, but it does open up the door and the opportunity, because primarily, even if you're an entrepreneur or you're working at 9 to 5. You're at that job, you're on that job at least half of the day.
Right.
Whether it's going to work, coming from work, doing stuff on the computer, emailing each other, all those different things. And so we tend to latch on. I mean, we're human. We're going to connect with people. And oftentimes when you're working with someone, it's probably within the same realm of what you're doing for your job. So you're connecting on that automatically off the gate. But then you start talking a little bit more. You're like, oh, I really like this person as a person. And then it starts to spill over into something. Well, you get a little text message at night. It was great seeing you today. Or the meeting, you ready for the meeting tomorrow? All this different type of stuff. And then you start sliding DMs, start sending pictures.
The Kim Bay Matumbo said, no.
Don't open up Pandora's box. Please don't open Pandora's box.
So listen, so Tasha, so you being an entrepreneur and being, being a professional for an extended period of time, has that been an issue for you, whether it's, you work in corporate or on your entrepreneurship journey, having employees, things like that? Has that been something that's kind of been presented to you in a sense?
He trying to say, have you ever had a work husband?
Right. No, I have been fortunate enough just to work with women mostly, because I've been in admissions or whatever. So no. But I do know people who have work husbands, but hey, my business, they ain't my tea to give. But I do understand the concept, and I understand of when you overworking yourself and not being able to give. I feel like yourself is first. I'm that person. I'm selfish. I'm in this. I ain't no selfish season. This self is life. Like
right.
And letting that trickle down. Because if I can't give to myself, If I can pour into me first, then what can you get from me if I can't give it to myself? So I give people the overflow of me. And so yeah, they get the overflow. What's coming from what's coming from the cup is what you get from me. It took me a long time, like 40 years to learn that, but now I got it.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with it though.
But yeah, it can happen when you don't get the attention or you're not given the attention and you're getting it at work. So I can see how that can happen. So
yeah, I see.
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead, sis.
This is my thing. We were talking about this, and I was like, man, do you remember Tyler Perry? Why Did I Get Married? The second one, and there's Tyler Perry, whatever his name was, I can't remember, but his wife is Diane, and she would come home. She came home, and she had these flowers, but it wasn't a stick, it was a stick, but it was no card. And so he noticed that she was real extra perky, like happy. And he was like, how was the day? Like, when the flowers came. So fast forward, she has this work husband, is what I call it. Yeah. And so, but their relationship had, to me anyway, from watching, this just a movie, but their relationship spilled over to an emotional attachment that she had. And so he was really nice to her. You know, they had great conversation. He made her laugh, is what she was saying. And he spun it back on her and was like, I noticed, when did it start? Because on this date, I noticed you went to work a little different. You wore these type of underwear to work. You started dressing a little different. And so when you think about a work husband or wife, I feel like the lines can be really blurred. Like, if I don't know the person, and I feel like every dude, I don't care who they are, preacher, I don't care who they, every man, if they find you attractive at any given moment, they're gonna smash. If it's allowed, they're gonna smash. So when you think about it in that context, if you say that this person is your work husband, in my mind, I'm already thinking like, this dude really want to smash, like he really want to have sex, and I know it. Right. But you're saying you're gonna this is the person that you hang around at work. No, if somebody I'm with tell me they got a work wife, it's gonna be a problem. I'm just saying, because I feel like it's the boundaries, like, right. And if I don't know the person and you talking about, they texting and doing all this other crazy stuff, then that means that it's a boundary that has already been, like, you just disregarded it. It's a violation.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. And from a guy's perspective, and the guys that's on the live, if you're over here, YouTube, wherever you at, we can almost take, if we had to choose, right, whether our significant other had sex with somebody else versus them being emotionally connected to that person.
Right. Oh, no doubt.
We'll take the sex for 500, Alex, like all day, every day. Because if you got a woman, and any guy that knows women, if you get her emotionally, you can have almost anything that you want.
Once you got a mind, and once you have her mind and it's an emotional connection, like she's connected to you, then the sex is just the extra. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a bonus to me.
Right.
But once you at work, you know what I'm saying, and the perception at work could be different. Like, I could have, if I work for, you work for somebody and you got all these female friends, and they seeing that you got this work husband, and it could look inappropriate to some people. Right, absolutely. And so that perception of saying work husband, work wife, like, what does that really mean? What is it? Does it mean what? Let's start off with that. What in the ham sandwich does it really mean? Let me look this up. Let me see.
From I would say from my perspective, I'm sorry if I scream.
Okay.
Anyone that you're, well, I would say like anyone that you're closer to,
And the average.
and you're spending an extended period of time, like you may have that person that, hey, y'all are cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's levels to it, right?
Right.
And like you said, it could change at any moment in time. But you're cool. Y'all go to lunch together, or something like that, or y'all, if y'all work in the same bay or y'all on the same team or something like that.
So that person provides some type of emotional support.
Right.
We can say that.
Yeah.
Emotional support.
Because it doesn't have to always lead to sex.
But
right?
But do you think this emotional connection,
Mm-hmm.
because people say all the time, females or women are emotional creatures.
Yes.
So if a woman has an emotional connection to another person that is not her boyfriend, man, girlfriend, whatever,
right.
Do you think that's where there's not a line crossed?
Yeah, it is.
Because we emotional anyway. So because this is what it says, and I look it up. It says, listen, Tasha, this is what I asked. This is the question I asked my assistant.
Okay.
Right. I said, is having a work husband or work wife considered cheating? And this is a response that my assistant gave me, my artificial intelligence.
Yeah, right.
It says, whether having a work husband or work wife is considered cheating depends on the nature of the relationship and the boundaries set within the primary romantic partnership, within your primary, right? It is important to recognize that these terms typically refer to close platonic relationships between colleagues who provide emotional support to each other at work, and they are not inherently romantic or sexual.
I can see that.
But
what you think, Josh?
What you think?
Resonate?
I agree, because that's your work husband. Now, once they turn to sex, now that's your side person. That's how that works out. That's the other definition. That's the other definition.
I think like work husband, when you think about your husband, you're comparing that person as, okay, I'm not at home, I'm at work. So this person is going to make me laugh at work. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go to lunch sometime.
Look out for
you
me.
know what I'm saying? No, bruh. Y'all ain't going to no lunch. Ain't no lunches happening.
Listen, like, I'm be honest, Tasha, like, in my years, I've had work girlfriends, like legit, and it's always been, I'm going to say always, I'll take that back. Most of them have been strictly platonic. Like, but we will go to lunch, we would hang out.
Was it because you wasn't interested in them sexually?
I'm not.
That's it.
No, she's trying to check me. No, she's trying to check me over there. That's the question. No, listen. I'm that type of person. Like, because as we get older, we're not adding onto our roster or relationships. If there's nothing that's like mutually kind of that connecting us, right? So the first thing I see is how you look, right? Then it's your personality, right? So majority of the time, these new people coming into my life, are attractive, right?
Okay.
Whatever you deem attractive. So I always say, like, any new woman that comes in my life, there's no such thing as us just being platonic. Somebody want to smash, and because the boundaries have been established, it doesn't happen. But I promise you, if they would crowd on my shoulder and say, you can get it.
Listen, that's Boomerang, Eddie Murphy. You know what I'm
saying? Emotional instability.
Like, Tasha, I've gone through my healing process. I'm emotionally intelligent. Both of my heads are connected to
You're
each
AI.
other. You know, whereas before they thought differently. You know what I'm saying? Like that one just had a mind of his own, in a sense. So getting into the topic as far as having a work husband or work wife, I know that it's more than just a sexual thing. That emotional thing can be really, really strong. It could F up what you got going on at home. So I wouldn't advise it at all. Like that's not something that I would do.
That what you would advise. So if you have if somebody that you see at work, let's say you had a regular job, you know what I'm saying, person comes up, they're attractive. You're saying at this point in your life, you would not have a. How do you stop the work husband, work wife? Like, how does it stop? Because you know what I'm saying, if y'all working together in the same space, how do you not have a connection with that person?
It's not about.
Huh?
I said you have to make the decision. Like you just not going to do it.
Right.
I feel like it's a decision. Like you just like either I want to go this way and risk it all, or I'm just gonna hold it in the road over here and just be like, hey, this is where we're gonna have to be.
Hold it in the road.
You gotta hold it in the road.
Don't sort
Once you cross over the double lines, that's it. You know?
I think it can happen. Like sometimes I feel like women are different. For me, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, like if I'm in a relationship, we just dating.
Right.
But if I'm in a heavy relationship, that's just not what I do.
Right.
Like I'm just not really interested. I don't see a person like that. So I can laugh and joke with you, but we ain't never going to lunch or no dinner. Like all of us can go. It could be 4 of us, but all of us ain't going. So I think it's right, like what y'all saying, like you making that decision to say, okay, well, we can laugh and joke, but when a person takes it to another level of texting, going to lunch, I feel like those are when the boundaries are crossed.
Right.
Like you can't. There's no way that you could have a work husband or wife, and y'all talking on the phone. Y'all already at work. Y'all already at work. What the hell y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you be DMing me? So then, if it comes to where the person is crossing the lines, then at some point, where it becomes inappropriate is when you don't communicate that with your significant other. Right. So if you marry and you don't communicate, like, yo, this chick at work, she coming on me hard.
Right.
Or I just say, like,
you feel comfortable when you go to work though.
Right, when you feel uncomfortable, and then at least your significant other or whoever you with is like, okay, all right, they understand. You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you're not saying nothing, you see how Idris Elba did it on our fest. He's trying to
like no go, you know. But I think it's to the point of what Tasha said earlier, as far as the communication, not only with your significant other, but also that person. And acknowledging, hey, I am attracted to you, but these are the boundaries of our relationship. So you gonna say that? You gonna say that? I'm still human.
You gonna say like, yo, I'm attracted to you, but I got a man.
Like, listen, we gonna keep it a buck. We gonna keep it a buck. So if I'm being honest, and we're having these types of conversations, I see where it's heading. I'll be like, okay, I feel that we're both kind of interested or attracted to each other in that particular way, but that's not the route that I'm trying to go. You cool, you know what I mean? Like we can, maintain it right here, but there's nothing past that. Like, and I've actually done that, like on a lot of different occasions, where I can set up those boundaries and still be cool with that person, although I know in the back of my mind, if I wanted to, it could get done. You know what I'm saying? I can do that.
I never told.
Because I've had my slut moments. Like as a 20-something-year-old, I've been through that process. So
that was them state. Like,
yeah,
we was trying to cross over the fence. We trying to cross over the fence.
I climbed over that fence. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now he got an emotionally attached girl at Claflin and at
you know
State.
what I'm saying? Like, what?
so now it's a whole lot easier for me to be like, I can acknowledge it because if I avoid it, that means I'm still holding on to it as I'm trying to avoid not talking to you, walking around you, trying not to, you know what I'm saying, rock the boat in a sense. I'll be like, nah, like, yeah, you fine as hell, but that I can keep you at a distance. I can say you fine, but that's just where it's at. I can acknowledge how beautiful you are and still not try to sleep with you.
I ain't telling you none of that, man.
Dang.
I'm not doing none of it. If I just fit this, that's what I'm saying. Maybe, and it could be me. It could be on me for my lack of communication. I feel like if we work together, you know that I'm whether I'm married or whatever, you already know.
Yeah.
If you dare cross that line, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not going to give you the room to cross the line.
Right.
I'm not going to give you the room to even think like it's okay to ask me to lunch or to DM me, because the first time you text me something inappropriate, I'm going to be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, you bug it.
Right.
So I'm going to say it. And I think that's probably the difference. Like, I'm not even going to allow, I'm just,
yeah.
I'm just not going to listen. It might be because my demeanor, people be like, okay, listen.
But that's okay.
It depends on how much you allow is what's going on. That's what Micah says, and I agree with that, because you said with the Tyler Perry, he noticed that she changed her demeanor. She was happy. She was all that. So why didn't you notice that she was unhappy? Why didn't you notice?
Right. Now that's a good point.
You know what I mean? So you see
that's a whole different point.
I'm happy, but you see that I'm happy now, and you're not making me happy. So why weren't you in tune that other side?
So he noticed, but like it didn't show that she was unhappy per se. Like, but it showed. But he did acknowledge that. I noticed that you like extra. You know what I'm saying? You dressing extra sexy, going to work. You smell really good. Like you laying out your. You know what I'm saying? Your panties and panties and bra before you go to work.
Yeah, you're matching.
You ain't got on no.
You going to granny panties? You going to granny panties tonight?
He was like, "Yo, you doing different. And you smell really good." And then she had the audacity to bring the flowers in.
Oh yeah, she bad.
That the work husband gave her. Like,
listen, yeah, you might as well keep that.
And then she lied about it. So she had the time to like come to be upfront about it. But then when he asked her about the flowers, that was her moment to say, "This dude gave me these flowers." But then she didn't do that. She waited till they in an intimate moment about to have sex, and she calls out the man's name. So at that point, dude is in her head, whether they had sex or not.
That is grounds. That's grounds for divorce. That is automatic.
Because we all know women, like once a person, once you're somebody is in your head or in your heart, like you have that emotional connection, then the sex is extra. Like I feel like that's just come. But if you can get somebody that way emotionally, then she already gone. So he was like, "Yo, you might as well have cheated. Like you might as well have physically had sex with him."
Right.
Because that's how different it is for women versus men.
That's how we be having all these first 48 moments.
And what's the show? Snap.
Because y'all want to have work days and everything, you know. But I don't think I can't think of. And Michael raised a question in the comments. He said it depends on what's happening at home and what's not happening. I get that, and at the same time, it's like
Micah, what you mean? What's not happening, Micah?
Well, he ain't getting sex.
He
He
don't
ain't
have
getting
the emotional
like,
attachment at home. He don't have the emotional attachment at home.
Exactly. So those love languages or whatever you need to feel love is not happening at home.
So that means somebody ain't had conversations. That's what it was.
Those hard conversations we try to avoid.
Like Tasha was saying though, if you with somebody and you notice that this person is not happy or something is off and you're not addressing it, then you're opening the door, Pandora's box, like you were saying, like you're opening that door for the person to be like, oh, well, this person makes me laugh. It's so innocent. Like he just makes me laugh. Or he just does
innocent about making y'all laugh. We can make y'all laugh. This was rap. God's my line. If I can make you laugh.
That's usually at the top of most women's lists. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can make me laugh. He don't got to be a comedian, but he could be goofy.
Right.
Kind of like make me laugh, make me smile. So if she's telling, then the other thing is if the person is telling the work husband or work wife what's not happening. So that's why I was asking Michael, because it could not be not necessarily what's not happening and he or she felt vulnerable and said, okay. But what about if you are spilling the beans of what's going on in your marriage or your relationship to this work husband, work wife?
You giving me the blueprint,
whole blueprint.
You giving me all the plays. I'm a coach over here. And you the opposing.
You like,
you giving me going right here.
Right
here.
Right.
I'm foul. With the whistle, foul.
Flag on the play.
Exactly. Flag on the play. You giving me all the answers to the test, and it's easy. That's why it's much easier for that work babe to get into your mind emotionally, because now you done reduce those vulnerabilities. You done
because I feel like that's what happens most of the time. I don't think it's like, you know what I'm saying, you go to work and you kind of sad, like, you know, I don't think it's that. I feel like you tell it because you may not be happy at home. So instead of having this conversation, and you might have had it, but instead of you having this conversation or going to therapy, whatever, with your partner, you are venting to this person that you feel like I feel like 60% of you feel like it's innocent, but the other 40% know, like, he could get it. Or she could get it. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to say certain things because I want that attention on me. What Micah said.
He said in the movie he was only attentive to her needs when he saw the change in her. Yeah, absolutely.
And he was just fine with her being complacent and unhappy.
Absolutely. It's like go to work, come home,
Groundhog Day.
Y'all sit in the bed, read your news or scroll through social media, then you go to bed. There's no quality time.
Now I got hurt.
But Diane was the one that had the day she got her tubes tied.
And the
first one, it didn't tell her. She was the one that was the worker.
That's grounds for divorce right there. Everything she did was grounds for divorce. You done burnt your tubes up. You done burnt your tubes up and you didn't tell me. Who does that? What kind of communication do we have?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was necessarily like, I brought that up because I felt like, you know what I'm saying? That was one of those moments where it was an emotional connection that she had with another man, but she didn't have she said she never had a physical interaction with him. But if you're at work every day, you kind of touchy feely, you smiling, like you got the googly eyes and shit with each other. Like, that is huge. Because then when you go home, you're not reciprocating that.
And
It's
cold and repetitive and really going through the emotion. You're just going through the flow, you're just
going through the cycle and the emotion. Like,
so how do we stop these people from having work babes, Tasha? Like, what's your recommendations? What's your
significant other? Have date nights. Do things like you said, find out what their love languages are, be in tune with them, Do things that are not always at home. Stop talking about the kids all the time. Love them kids. I love the crumb snatchers, but we don't got to talk about the crumb snatchers all the time. You know what I mean? I start calling them
Right.
snatchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's having that open line of communication with them, but you have to spend time with that person. You have, and then you have to like them. Let's start there. You can love
That's a big
And
part.
that's
them.
big.
I can love you all day, but if I
But
don't like you,
I gotta like, and
Yeah.
you gotta. But when you like that person, when you like your significant other, you're more prone to want to spend time. You know what I'm saying? You're more prone to want to
Right.
communicate that I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Or this is what I need.
Mhm.
And if you have a partner that says, "Okay, I feel you, I get you, I'm a work on that," but if you don't tell the person, I feel like you're not really giving them an ample opportunity or chance to fix it.
Yeah.
And so then you got the work babe. Like
They listen, they all
listen, they like what they like
what you need for lunch today? What you
Now
need?
they come back with your favorite meal and all kind of things. Like,
because that's what they know they have to do. Like if I could, most men know if I could win her over emotionally, then that's it. Like if I could give her what she, because it's mofos out there be like, okay, men and women that will say, well, whatever he or she not doing, I'ma do.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely.
And so if you telling the person, like you said, give them the blueprint, then hell, by the time, listen, you like, oh, this a buster.
Right. That's why sis over there acting like that.
Listen, because you done gave him the whole blueprint, but now he done forgot, or that wasn't really him. And so now you like, oh man, this a buster. Like I done left my whole, you know what I'm saying? You done messed up your whole marriage. Yeah. You done messed up your family. Right. You done did a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and now you got a buster.
Right. You're losing, sis. You're losing. But I also think you need to check in with your partner because we change so much. Like you need to every year,
that's true.
like the things that you used to like, you may not like anymore, or now I like something else, and this is what I like to do. But you get, is this the same thing? You've been with somebody 20 years and y'all still doing the same thing? Somebody lying. Somebody is lying. Somebody is lying.
Not the same person from 20 years ago.
I ain't the same person I was last week. I'm a different person this week than I was last week.
Right. You need to check in with me like on Sundays to see how I'm feeling on Sundays.
I really feel like entrepreneurship changes you.
It does.
It's rapid and it's exponentially faster than someone that just works a regular 9 to 5 because you constantly like this. So
your mind is moving.
Yeah, so you have to be able to adjust. So one of the biggest things that I say is acceptance, leads to change. So we got to accept that we are going to change in order to have these healthy relationships. So hey, we can talk about relationship stuff all like we really can. But before we get out of here, want to make sure you're able to plug in your information. Where can people find you? These entrepreneurs, these
I'm gonna send some people your way.
Absolutely,
I'm definitely gonna.
These aspiring business owners and things like that. Where can they find you? Look you up, social media, email, all those different things.
Okay. So on social media, they can follow me at Tosha Dash, and that's Tosha with an O. Tosha, Tosha, last name Dash. You can follow me on Instagram at _Tosha_Dash. And then I'm also going to drop in, I have a Calendly link. They can do a free 15-minute consultation to see.
Always good.
No, I'm not even lying. Like I really have is a good friend I know. He's in Philly. I sent him the link to join, but he owns a towing service, and he's always like, "Yo, Steph, I need some information on funding and all that." Now, so I'm definitely going to send him your information.
Yeah, it's important, and this making sure like your credit is straight. So those things we didn't really touch on. So making sure you have a good credit score, like a 700 credit score. I just did in my group.
Girl, most of us ain't got no 700 credit score. Stop playing.
Yeah, but we got to get it though. You got to get it. If you want the money, you got to get it. And
So
it's not that hard.
Do you assist in that process as well, or is that something that you outsource?
I outsource.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a whole different beast to
oh
be able
yeah,
to
that's a
have
whole
funding,
different.
funding. So I have
So most you saying, Tasha, so I'm sorry, I know we gotta go. So you're saying for business funding,
yeah. The
when
sweet
it
spot
comes
is
to
700.
funding and
That sweet spot is a 700 credit score.
okay, but for let's say, is it different when it comes to business credit and business lines of credit?
Right.
Is the credit score? I'm just asking for people because I know most people I talk to, they like, well, my personal credit not on point. Can I use my business credit? And I always say like, they both got to be kind of, your personal credit got to be on point, especially if you're starting off.
Right. Just like he was talking about getting that $50,000. They don't tell you the ins and out. They don't give you the fine. They don't tell you about that fine line at the bottom. You know what I mean? Or that commercial with the guy talking, yeah, fine line, or that commercial with the guy talking real fast, and they be like, "Oh yeah, you can get this car for $10,000." But you have to have your ducks in a row. You know, you have to have your T's crossed, your I's dotted. You know, and so when a lender wants to give you money, they want to check what other way can I trust you than by looking at your profile on the personal side. And so if your personal side is good, then I feel more comfortable in giving you this amount of money. Because you have a business, we're going to give you 3 to 10 times more or whatever you make on your financials, whatever it's saying that you're making on your financials. And so, but I have to trust you, and I can't go by because Tasha, you cute, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you $50,000 today. You know what I mean? I need to see what your background looks like. So that's why we said a 700 credit score. You have your business established properly. And then just to talk about business credit and business funding. So business credit is like your net 30s. So you have like your Quill, your Granger, you know, things like that. So that's when a company allows you to use their product or service for 30 days, but they want all of their money, all of it in those 30 days, all of it. So you got net 45s, net 30s, net 15s, net 7s. It all depends on what you have.
Man, I've seen a net 1.
Yeah,
I've seen
some of those. I know for us, like some of them gas cars was a net 1. Amazon has like a net 60.
Yeah.
Net 45, net 60. But I love Quill. I mean, I built business credit, but I still love Quill.
Yeah, but it takes you a long time to. You have business credit. You're limited to those specific things that they offer. Building business funding. So your business funding could be business credit cards, lines of credit. It could be equipment loans. Those things where now I can use them for whatever I want to use them for. You know what I mean? And so having that 700 credit score makes that lender feel comfortable in knowing that you could be responsible in paying it back. Just like you said, you can get $50,000, but if you don't have a plan. So when I talk to my clients, you have to have a plan. Like, what are you going to do with this money? So if you told me you need equipment, you need a computer. How much is the computer? I don't know. Like, I'm gonna need you to go check and see how much it is. If you don't have a plan, I can give you $50,000, and then now you just spending it frivolously. Then now you be like, oh, I don't like business credit. Now you speaking poorly on it. Don't get it. It's gonna put you in debt. Right. In order to make a return on your investment. Yeah. So that's why it's important to know exactly what you want to do with your money. Even with truck drivers, I have we'll get on the phone. They're like, oh, I want a dump truck. How much is it? I don't know. Like,
but I feel like that's just I don't know why. I just feel like for us, that foundation piece and understanding that you got to have a plan. People struggle with a plan. We struggle with even looking at your financials. Like when somebody says, when I say, well, what was your profit margin? What's your profit margin? And they're like, what are you talking about? Right. I don't know what that. How you in a business and you don't know how much you making or how much you got going out? You don't even know whether you made a profit to keep doing the same thing. And so that's a good conversation. This is a good conversation to have. And
filing taxes, that's important too. They don't like to file taxes, or they
don't like to file taxes.
And then when they ask for your taxes at the bank, they say you only made $500, but you want 20. Nah, son, I'm not giving you $20,000 if you only made 500. Like, no. So definitely we need a part two, because I definitely have, like I say, it's my love language. I absolutely love it. And so we just have to know, like, we have so many opportunities in order to make our businesses grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but we just have to take advantage of. We have to understand them first. You have to understand where they are, and then you have to find somebody who can help you do that. I always believe if you have somebody with experience, then they can help you get to your goals faster. You're just trying to do it on your own. Everybody, that's not your expertise. Let somebody else help you. That's what we pay for. That's why we go to restaurants. We can cook, but we want to pay for the convenience of somebody doing it for us. So
Right. Yeah, I definitely think it need to be a part two, or even part three and a fourth. Only because I just know I talk to people every day, and I'm in transportation, but passenger transportation, and a lot of times they struggle with getting a van or getting started because they don't really have a plan.
Right.
But then they don't understand business credit or business funding.
yeah, because you have to understand personal funding first. I mean, personal credit. You need to understand that, and making sure you're being responsible with that. So that's primary. That's your foundation.
Yeah, that foundation, we struggle with that. So we're gonna have to bring you back to have
Absolutely.
Can't build a roof if you ain't got a slab. You know, you can't start from the top.
You know, some quicksand. Build your house on some quicksand.
Yeah, all that last.
It'd be like,
yep, exactly. That's it.
So again, Tosh, we'll thank you. We appreciate the insight. We appreciate the information. Make sure you guys follow her on Instagram, IG, Facebook, wherever. It's in the comments. So make sure you guys just go ahead and click on that.
Micah said, you definitely need to come back because it's much needed information.
Absolutely.
So Mike, if they'll have me, and then if it's I'm looking where you have it at. It's the underscore between D and Tosha.
Okay.
In case they can't. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll definitely reach out to have a
well, I appreciate you guys having me. Like I said,
no, this is good. Like, well, I'm glad you came on. We laughed and joked. We had a little serious, you know what I'm saying? And then we laughed.
Personality, and when you're an entrepreneur, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh.
You gotta laugh.
You gotta laugh, or you could be crying. So you have.
You're gonna be a depressed ass person if you don't laugh and stuff. Like, cause listen. Yeah,
it's definitely needed. So we make sure we touch all aspects from the mind, body, soul, from the financial standpoint, all the aspects as being an entrepreneur, because we're multifaceted. So definitely, the expertise is needed, wanted. You know,
and you look like us. That's always the plan.
Oh, that's definitely important. And see, and that's another thing. Like when we go into these banks. Like there's a whole lot of things that we could talk about. Like we go into these banks, we have to, we got to play the part. You know what I mean? So when we get there, there's gatekeepers when we get there. So you got to know what to say, how to say it. You got to know, you got to speak their language. If you don't, then you're gonna get the door closed on you every single time.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Nope, denied.
Yeah.
Nope. So definitely we're gonna pick up part two. Yeah. We'll definitely have you back here sooner, definitely rather than later, because we know these holidays coming up and people spending all this money but don't want to spend their money and put it into their business and all that good stuff.
That's a whole nother
topic. We ain't gonna touch it. We gonna leave it for right here. We're gonna put a little pause on it. We're gonna have to coordinate with the wonderful Miss Tosha Dash, get her back on here ASAP. But we're gonna make that happen for y'all because it's definitely needed. We out here, we need to build these businesses, build our communities, pour back into these communities, but use somebody else's money while doing it.
Yeah. Sure.
That part right there. That part. Because they are using yours.
They're using yours. I'm about to say they're using ours.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in. Be About Your Business podcast.
Yeah.
You know, it's your host here.
Yeah.
They ain't not your average therapist. Then you got Steph.
Stephanie. This Stephanie.
No, you
know what I'm saying?
guru.
Some people call me the NEMT guru.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Some people call me mama. Some people call me.
Like when we wear a lot of different hats. We wear a lot of different hats. That's what we do.
Hey, I got a lot of titles.
Yeah, but you know. Yeah. Oh yeah, we being about our business.
Yeah, for sure.
24/7.
For sure.
All the time. So again, Tosh, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
You know, she rolled the wave a little, you know, because we get backed up over here sometimes. We got enough.
Hey, I love to have a good time. I love to have a good time. Hey, I like to be myself. I don't like to be.
That's right. That's the only way to be. That's the only way to be.
Yeah. When my clients talk to me, I be like,
we accepting all that.
Yeah, when my clients talk to me, I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. Like, you did it for real? Like, nah. Like, I'm talking to you like that.
That's the only way to be. I ain't got time to put no mask on.
Yeah.
Take it off.
It's too heavy. It wears on you.
And everybody else is happy except you. So, yeah.
Exactly. That part.
Been there, done that.
Preach. All right, you guys. Y'all have a good evening. We're going to tap in with y'all next weekend. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll holler at y'all. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Good night.